My name is Kirsten and I have Asperger syndrome. I have had it for 4 years, technically, diagnosed with it. I've been diagnosed since I was 14 and I'm 18 now. But I have had it all my life and I've always known about it. So, I've always been on medication for various things. Some of it doesn't even really deal with my Asperger's, but there's different little aspects of Asperger's that did need medication, and so I got it, like my anxiety and my depression. Even though up until I started puberty, I was really a very happy child. I was the happiest child in my block, neighborhood that is. But then puberty happened and I started wanting to die. That was really fun for me. No. Puberty changed my whole life because suddenly I was dealing with emotions that I had never felt before and I had no idea how. Like, my emotions that I dealt with were like happiness and sadness. They were very black and white up until I hit puberty. And then it was like I had just discovered there was this thing called a grayscale. So then I had to deal with the mixture of emotions, like happiness but also anger, happiness but also sadness. And it was really confusing for me. So I started seeing a therapist. Actually, I've been in therapy all of my life because I needed therapy, really. That was all there was to it. But then we started discussing my emotions once I started having them. And I have been very lucky with therapists. I have not had one that I didn't like. I mean, I connected with most of my therapists. Yeah, it was really great, and I am so blessed to have had those therapists. Like my Miss Lana, who I have known almost all of my life. I don't remember a time when I haven't known her. She's pretty awesome. And Miss Vonda, who I still see today, she's really great. And Miss Jessica, Miss Casey, although she was more of a physical therapist than an occupational, but she counts. She was awesome. So I went to therapy because I needed physical therapy at first. And then I started having occupational therapy. And while I don't remember the very, very first reason I started having therapy, I remember I could not be functioning without it. I have had great therapists and they have taught me everything almost, whether it's how to properly respond to something or whether it's like dealing with your emotions. I could not have done that without them. It's really great to have had them. So, shout out to them. So, dealing with anxiety has always been something that has really, really sucked. Like, I have social anxiety and I have general anxiety disorder. I just have anxiety all over the place. It is not fun. Excuse me, not fun. So, to deal with it, I was told to start breathing deeply and counting to 10, but that doesn't work. It does not work for me. I don't know if that's all Aspies or just me. Sorry, an Aspie is a person with Asperger syndrome. Even though that is not the official diagnosis anymore, I am an Aspie. I grew up as an Aspie. I'm not going to change for that. Stupid DSM. So the things that do help my anxiety are playing Call of Duty, writing about it, drawing things. And these things can be really, really dark sometimes because of the intensity of my emotions. And that is okay, and it helps me. So if your child or you are dealing with anxiety or depression and you're drawing or writing really dark things, I think that it's healthy as long as you don't act upon them. So I have had 3 real life friends, and most of them, a majority of them, 2 out of 3, are not really my friends. I did not realize that at the time, but you know. So I've turned to the internet where I have like 3,050 million friends. And they have supported me and walked with me on this path of Asperger's, and I have tons of respect for them and love for them, and I just could not be here today without my internet friends. So I am saying that internet friends are not going to murder you in your sleep, and if they did, well, it's not like that would be a bad thing necessarily. I'm not promoting murder, just for the record. In order to educate your Aspie, I think that you need to have an IEP, a really, really, really individualized education plan. I think it needs to be specific to how they learn, visual, auditory, whatever the other ones are. And I think it needs to be specific to what they want to learn, because if they are trying to become an author, then they don't really need to know a lot of math, right? Right? And anyway, I think that Asperger's syndrome is something that really does not help to have when you have a kid who needs to do school, because they don't see the point in most of it because they're already very educated on their special interests. However, I do realize that in order to get a job, you need an education. And so I'm saying that in order to educate your Aspie, you need to have a very individualized education plan, and that it needs to be flexible, and you need to stop when they tell you to, and you need to back off when they tell you to, but you need to know when to push, and that can be really difficult. But if they are sitting there crying, saying how stupid they are, you need to stop, back up, and tell them everything that you're thinking. Like, they are amazing, and you don't need to blame them for it, because it's not them, it's their anxiety and their Asperger's.